Truth Minister Paul Scott, NoWarningShotsFired.com, interviewing Professor Griff, legendary scholar, legendary hip-hop artist from Public Enemy. How you doing, good brother?
Maintain. Here at the Natural Hair Show in Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right.
Trying to make it happen.
Brother, I want to talk to you about hip-hop and activism. More than that, hip-hop and black scholarship. Since you are the father of hip-hop and black scholarship, brother, just take us back 20 years ago and let us know how that all started, how you got the idea of mixing scholarship and hip-hop.
Well, I think the whole idea came from the fact that me and Chuck, we were studious brothers anyway, coming out of the African-American experience out of Hofstra University, ran by ex-Black Panthers. So I think we were studious brothers anyway. And what we did was, with having the medium of hip-hop, after hearing Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, their song The Message, we was like, that's where we need to be. You understand what I'm saying? That's the route we need to go. And I think it was an easy transition for us to morph social commentary, political ideas, every aspect of the struggle to kind of mesh that with the music. Now listen, we've had brothers and sisters prior to Public Enemy to do this, but we only look at it as hip-hop. We don't look at it as hip-hop. Now, we can't negate the fact that the last poets put it down. So when you talk about consciousness and identifying the enemy and struggle and putting positive message out there, you got to talk about the early days prior to hip-hop that gave birth to hip-hop. So all of those artists, we definitely have to name. Just a few of them. We have to mention the Watts Prophets. We have to mention the last poets, Gil Scott-Heron, and some of the other poets that were out there doing it. More so than the music thing, they had natural instruments, horn, congas. They was out on the corner, turning over garbage cans, hitting the bottom of the garbage cans, doing their poetry on the corner. So when you talk about organic music and message, when you talk about organic information, as Chuck called it, rap is the CNN for the black community. Oh, it's real. It's very real, and they've laid the base for what we did. So we had examples in front of us. You understand what I'm saying? Now, in the way that we did it, yeah, I think we kind of set a trend, man, and kind of set it off for all those artists that came after us. The Poor Righteous Teachers, the Brand Nubians, the Queen Latifahs, the Big Daddy Kanes, and this kind of stuff. But when you talk even about those groups, they came from that conscious era in music that the 5% Nation of Islam gave birth to. And a lot of them came from that particular school of thought. You understand what I'm saying? But in the way Public Enemy did it, speaking truth to power, we have to give credit where credit is due. And Chuck, myself, often sat down in debates, conversations, arguments, which led to those songs that people enjoy today.
But as far as, I think you all were the first that I saw that will actually put books.
Yeah.
This is what we said, but go back and read the books. Right. And especially you, I think you were the first one to actually give shout-outs to people. I mean, back in, 20 years ago, you were giving shout-outs to the scholars, on your CDs.
Right.
You would say Steve Coakley, you would name just Kwame Ture, you would name all the scholars. So I think it was original with that.
Right.
As far as that. So, as going 20 years to the future, what do you see as the state of hip-hop and consciousness in 2010, or hip-hop and the lack of consciousness in 2010?
Well, moving forward, we have to see where hip-hop came from. We have to understand where hip-hop is. And then even beyond that, Elijah Muhammad said, if you knew better, you would do better. You understand what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times the mothers and fathers of this generation that's coming up in hip-hop now, I think the mothers and fathers and the aunties and uncles know better, but the children, the nieces, the nephews, and the children and the cousins, they're not doing better simply because we're not holding them to those standards that were already set, not by us, but by our ancestors. Do you understand what I'm saying? And we have to understand that to a large degree, we're going to lose if we don't bring some of those things that we already set as a standard. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's put that to the test. Just the whole idea of the way we learn in rhythm. Okay? There's no more rhythm that you can get than a song in hip-hop that some of these young kids, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years old, know every word to every one of these particular songs, but they're not learning anything. Are you following me? We have, not in a corny way, but we have to put the educational value back into the music and then hold the artist to a standard. If we don't do that, then we're going to lose, plain and simple. Now, a lot of them looking at that methodology may say, well, that's corny. You understand what I'm saying? To us, it wasn't corny. We made it what we wanted to be, plain and simple. Subject matter is very important, which is another thing. What we talked about was very critical. We didn't talk about the cornball stuff. There's some basic things that we already know that everyone should have. But we need to take it a lot deeper than that. And what we need to do is not only take it a lot deeper than that, we need to live these things. It's cool to say it. It's cool to wear it. You understand what I'm saying? But now, when you're held to a standard and you have to walk the walk as much as you talk the talk, then it seems like it becomes a problem. Simply because there's this duality with artists in hip-hop. We take on two different names. We act out two different kind of people, personalities, personas. This gives the average person a way out, which is corny. Simply because if I leave the key in the back door, what I'm actually doing is leaving myself a way out. Are you following? What do I mean by that? How many different names does Hove have? Jay-Z, Eminem, Nas. We could go on and on. So when it comes to us questioning Nas or one of these artists about some of the things that they said, they say, well, that was only a character that I was portraying, whatever. But that's your biggest hit. That's the thing that people are going to remember. Are you following me? So it's easy for Eminem to be Slim Shady and Martha Mathers. But when do we deal with the Eminem? So it's easy for Eminem to call black women bitches and hoes in his material, but yet we don't hold him accountable. Are you following me? So we need to start having checks and balances. Deeper than that, a brother by the name of Emperor in St. Louis, he dropped this particular thing on me. He said, man, we need application and commitment. We need to be committed to the things that we're saying and doing, and then we need to apply these things. These things need to be applicable to young people's lives in a very fly, hip, as they say today, swag kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? If not, young people ain't paying no attention to this. They tired of the white Jesus stuff. They tired of church. They tired of the educational system. They tired of the madness, man. And they're actually rebelling against it. Are you following me? Because we haven't thoroughly did our job and our duty to make these things happen.
That's what's up. Talk to me about the book, brother. I read the book, outstanding book, and you revealed a lot of stuff, brother, that I've been wanting to know over the years. I'm sure a lot of people followed your career over the years in that book, so that book is definitely a must-have for anybody who's into hip-hop, anybody who wants to know the true history of Professor Griff and Public Enemy. So talk about your book, brother.
Well, just to lead off into the book is called Analytics. Analytics simply means critical thinking or critical thought. If you studied the neophyte coming up in ancient Kemet, who went to school for 40 years, by the time you graduated and you received those degrees, all right, that led up to the life degree, you did critical thinking. The book is called Analytics. 20 years of conversations and interviews with Public Enemy's Minister of Information, Professor Griff. 254 pages. And what I actually did, I did it in such a way where young people, it would make an easy read to young people. I put it in interview form, just like we're doing now. If we was to drop this down in book form and type everything out, I think it'll be an easy read.